Hi, it's Sabrina. Join me with a lineup of incredible experts as we inspire you.
It's you transcending
to redesign your life. I love this, one small change at a time.
This is the Sabrina Soto Show. Come on in.
I'm so happy you're here.
I'm so happy to be here. Thank you.
So today's intention is to nourish our bodies and our minds. I wanted you to join the conversation because your work as a psychologist and your focus on narcissism has really changed my life. To me, you are a legend because it was as if you were holding my hand through such a dark time in my life. And I'm sure you probably hear that all the time.
I do. I'm so sorry that happened to you. I wish nobody needed me. That's the world I want to live in.
For people who don't know what you're known for, can you tell everyone a little bit about your background?
So I focus on people who are going through narcissistic relationships. What happens to people when they've been through a relationship with somebody who is narcissistic, toxic, antagonistic, use whatever word you want. Think about it, Sabrina. Person comes to therapy. They're anxious, they're upset, they can't sleep, they're crying, they're confused, they're overwhelmed. Who is the therapist focusing on?
The person.
Sabrina, there's so much going wrong for you.
Yeah.
Girl, you're having a normal reaction to being in that kind of relationship.
That's right.
And so what I wanted people to understand is, I don't want you to feel all these uncomfortable things, but it's not you. And that's why my book is called It's Not You.
It's not you.
This is a expectable reaction to being in one of these relationships.
Yes.
That became the foundation of the work I would do, because focusing on just the narcissism piece, first of all, it doesn't really change. But where I really saw the change and the conversation had to happen, because we weren't having it, is what was happening to people in these relationships. It's not always about domestic abuse, like physical abuse. It's almost all of it emotional abuse, very manipulative. And so people say, I don't identify with this, like I don't have a bruise on my face. I say, no,
what I was gonna say.
You got a bruise on your soul, and that counts.
I can't agree with you more. And I know this sounds horrible to say, but I did feel like the abuse, it hurt just as much as if somebody were to physically hit me.
But it does, because you got to remember, when you're that off balance, when you're living with something that unpredictable, that invalidating, that at times can be kind of kind and then become really cruel, and you don't know what you're getting.
Cognitive dissonance.
Cognitive dissonance, good girl. So then what happens though, you're feeling the kind of overwhelm and fear that a person would feel no matter how they're being abused, right? Our nervous system doesn't always distinguish. All we know is we feel uncertain, we feel anxious, we feel on edge.
Crazy.
So we respond, we feel crazy.
Yes.
Because this person isn't always terrible. And that's what was unique about the narcissistic relationship.
The person that I was in a relationship with had made up this story about something that happened in this backyard. And I started to believe the story until I realized I have surveillance cameras. And I watched the surveillance footage and realized it never happened that way.
I always tell people, am I being gaslighted? And I'll say, here's the ultimate tell. And everyone watching this show,
tell me.
Ultimate tell you're being gaslighted is that you feel compelled to start recording conversations.
I have to tell you one thing and I'm just gonna be really vulnerable about it. I'm actually embarrassed that I went through that because I feel like it makes me look weak that I allowed something like that to happen in my life.
All right, so let's break that one down immediately. I don't know a person in this world who would not be vulnerable to one of these relationships. Not one. You tell me who, Sabrina, when approached by someone charming, charismatic, confident, seemingly empathic, attractive, compelling, who's like, no, I don't want to go out with you.
And I do look back and I realize I don't think I fully loved myself at that time either. And I think that was a big problem.
I'm going to call you out on that.
Please do.
Okay?
Yeah.
Because once again, now you're blaming yourself. Here's the bottom line, Sabrina. Someone was mistreating you. That's it. That's full stop. You didn't love yourself. Okay, that fine. You work on you. Somebody was harming you. And in this deep dive of what was Sabrina's contribution, Sabrina's big mistake was wanting to love and be loved. I don't call that a mistake. I call that being a human being. This person took advantage of a situation, and that's the part that's not okay. And if we can stop the paragraph there, then people can move from there. Yes, that work on ourselves and understanding that we have a right to be separate individual human beings and all that stuff. That's the work of a lifetime, Sabrina. Then we're all gonna meet our person when we're 89 years old. So here's the things you're looking for. You're looking for pathological selfishness. You're looking for variable empathy. Sometimes it seems to be on, sometimes it's off, but it never really feels sincere. You're looking for entitlement, that they're special, they deserve special treatment. They lose their mind if they have to wait in a line. What do you mean you don't have my table ready? What do you mean I have to wait an hour? They're very grandiose, they're very arrogant, they are manipulative. You see the gaslighting. Now here's the problem. That's not a first date opener. It's not a second date opener.
They don't show that.
It's not a third date.
Right.
On average, for people who are concerned they're in a narcissistic relationship, the problem is it can take almost 6 months to a year to observe enough of the patterns to say, Houston, we have a problem. It means in the early part of the relationship, it feels fantastical, it feels idealized, you feel seen and heard like you've never felt seen before. So even if some of these little toxic-y signs are getting sprinkled in there, a lot of people will say, this has got to be a me thing. Or once again, I'm trying to sabotage a relationship. So a lot of people will take that on themselves because so many boxes are being ticked. As with most things, to see a pattern, it takes time. After a relationship with a narcissistic person ends, there's only one piece of guidance I can give. You need at least 1 year out. That piece you said about loving yourself, it's not even about loving yourself. It's about knowing who you are as a separate human being, what you like, what you don't like, what your interests are, where you like the thermostat set, what kind of cereal you like to eat in the morning, because all of that was stolen from you.
You need to detox.
You need to not only detox, but you need to know you. And a lot of people never do that in the first place. But certainly a narcissistic relationship takes all of that away. A year where you spend anniversary dates the way it feels right to you. You travel alone. You spend time with friends. You reconnect with your life.
Yes.
And every person I've worked with who waited the year said, now I want to go longer because I'm actually really enjoying life. Some things are, number one, you need support. You need some people in the world who see and get what you're going through. If you're fortunate, you have a good therapist. Maybe you're in a support group community. We have things like the Dr. Ramani Network.
Can you talk about the network?
So the Dr. Ramani Network is wonderful because it's an interactive network. Intimate relationships with narcissistic folks do often break up, right? And it's a grief like no other. Where every week we have guests, sometimes we have a show that's all questions. They can ask questions, but there's also that sense of community amongst everyone, hearing whatever our topic of the week is. And then we also have a healing program where people get community support and we do deep dives every month. And I'm not the only one. There's other programs out there. Figure out what works for you. Being in therapy helps. Having people in your life who get it, reading, educating yourself. You need validation. You need support. That's number one. Number two is recognize there's a you separate from the relationship.
I think that when you feel so alone, you need to talk to other people who are going through
What
it
to do.
to just have that validation.
Yes.